I've seen all these charts and graphs about how, the average American is now, $2,300 a year poorer or whatever the number. It's made up numbers. And I'm thinking to myself, I mean, if the tax cuts had expired, the number there would have been far higher, number one, of whatever loss, and it doesn't factor in the net benefit into the revenues that are brought into the U.S. So just pointing that one thing out. Now, simultaneously to all of this going on, notice that Trump is not so quietly trimming some fat off the federal government. Biden cooked the books on jobs by hiring an obscene amount of people during his administration. The private sector was not hiring very much during Biden's administration. So the way that they got their jobs reports up is the federal government hired a ton of people. Now, if you saw the cuts to 1,300 State Department employees, the scenes at the State Department were something like this. People flooding out of the building with their boxes, their stuff, and employees clapping for them. Watch this. Look, I've got my stuff. I'm leaving. Yay! Oh, you're so brave. We're going to miss you. Oh, here, wait. Got a hug. Here's a hug. Oh. People filing out of the building. This one has, another hug. Okay. That's it. We don't need any more of it. But that's get a taste of what was going on. Now, there are 80,000 State Department employees. 80,000. This Rubio and Trump cut 1,300. And they're screaming like a stuck pig. That's nothing. And I believe they're going to cut a lot more. Now, remember, I think they're cutting them piecemeal in part because these, it makes it a little bit easier based on the judicial rulings for them to sort of, cut them off in waves rather than one giant chunk. So I think this is going to be, I'm hoping it's just the beginning. Now, these people all need to return to the private sector. The only way that we get our GDP up, and Elon Musk talked about this a lot, people in the government that don't produce anything of real consequence for gross domestic product need to be taken out of public work and into private sector work in order to get our economy back on track, in order for us to earn our way out of debt. It will be essential for us to right-size the deficit and the debt if we increase per capita GDP. People in the government don't produce anything. Putting in, for example, through the big, beautiful bill, Medicare restrictions on people who are able-bodied but can't work is another example of this. Go work. We don't need people sitting around useless government jobs. I mean, the way the left is talking about, oh my gosh, mission critical people and the State Department, it's over. I mean, America's going to lose its power in the world. Did you know that 1,300 out of 80,000 positions, that's all that was cut? If you were watching mainstream media on this, you'd think that they basically fired the whole State Department. Dr. Oz makes a point, by the way, about able-bodied people shouldn't be eligible for Medicaid without looking for work. This was today in a Fox News interview. I think this is pretty spot on, to be honest.
The president from day one said he wants to love and cherish Medicaid. Now, what is Medicaid? As you enter into the building where I work with Bobby Kennedy and other leaders at the Health and Human Services, there's a quote on the side of the wall. It's from Hubert Humphrey, and it says, "It is the moral obligation of government, and we honor this, to take care of those at the dawn of their life, the children, those at the twilight of their life, the elderly, and those living in the shadows." folks with handicaps. Originally, it was called blind, disabled. So those are the populations Medicaid was designed for. 60 years ago this month, by the way, it's having its birthday. And it's the backbone of the social support system, the safety net system of the country. We have to keep it viable. And what happened over the last few years is a complete perversion of that mission, a destruction of its core purpose that led to its being at risk of bankruptcy. We would have spent $5.4 trillion more dollars instead of the $200 billion that we actually did put into it. So I'll say that again. We would have put a ton of money into it that would have bankrupted the system. Instead, we wisely put more money in, $200 billion. But then went one step further, and under the president's guidance, we actually fixed the fraud, waste, and abuse, specifically work requirements, which is what they're talking about. When the program was created 60 years ago, it never dawned on anyone that you would take able-bodied individuals who could work and put them on Medicaid. Today, the average able-bodied person on Medicaid, it doesn't work, they watch 6.1 hours of television or just hang out. That's not fair.
Is that okay?
No, go out and try to get a job. They argue that we can't do it. They're arguing against the competency of the American people and their government. I would make the argument that if I offer you a deal, I'll give you free health insurance, but you got to get off your tail and go try to go to work, you'll take the deal. Most Americans have already done that.
Bingo. And it's all about making Americans individually more productive in order to boost our gross domestic product.